What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Hopefully, welcome back. Either way, welcome to the sort of DFS soccer recap. Still having trouble with the name. The sort of DFS soccer recap. Week 2 for us. I don't even know what game week it is, but it's week 2 for us. That's all that matters. I'm Alex Hooper, joined by my buddy Tom Stoss. I play DFS every week. Tom is a newbie to the game. We're kind of working him into it, trying to figure things out and going week by week. And
yeah, the emphasis is on trying to figure it out, at least on my side.
I can tell you what, you're probably less net negative than I am at this point, since we've been doing this in 2 weeks.
Yeah, okay, all right, that's possible, yeah.
Quite a few $100s, so that's one way to look at it.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say I'm a simple man. I have simple needs, and it's losing a couple bucks at a time. It's whatever. It keeps me humble.
We can agree on that one. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the slates, the classic slates from the weekend, and today, Monday the 26th, is when we're recording this. The Spurs-Burnley match just ended, and the Spurs won that 1-0. So I don't even know if that's paid out yet on DraftKings. We only do DraftKings because FanDuel's awful for soccer. I'm just going to say that. I'm going to put that out there. No sponsorships yet.
Yeah.
Maybe if they change
I believe
maybe
that.
I'll play it. Yeah.
I didn't know that before, but now, yes, that's the line. FanDuel,
no,
watch out.
We don't like it.
I'll do what you
do. We're going to start. What we did last week, we looked at some GPP lines, and that was selfish because at the time I was just playing GPP pretty much strictly, and I was trying to give you cash advice, which probably wasn't the best for the advice I was giving you. And in the time since, I've decided I'm going to go back to grinding cash. I'm not liking the throwing a ton at the wall in GPP and hoping to place in the top 5 where it actually pays me back my entries, because in big GPPs, especially in soccer, if you're not in the top 10, 15, you're not making that money back. If you're in the top 10 or 15, there's a good chance you make a lot, but you don't even double up at some point. So I think I'm done with that. I think I'm going to play exclusively tickets, and that's the horse that got me to where I'm at. So I think that's where I'm going to go. So anyway, we're going to start with cash. We're going to look at the cash lineups. We're going to look at the top lineup, and then we're going to look at couple of the sharks. If I see some names that we know and love to hate, we'll take a look at those lineups because those are the guys that matter. We want to do what they're doing, especially in cash games generally. So let's get right to it. We're going to take a gander at my screen, and we're going to start here. This is my Saturday $25 double up lineup. I went with Diogo Jota. Obviously, that was Firmino at the start. I sent you a player pool at the start of the day, like who I was thinking about playing. And I had Jota just above Firmino as my top play on the slate. And when that switched out, when we saw that Jota was starting, I shouldn't say switched out, alongside Firmino, which I don't think anyone expected.
Yeah, that's weird.
I think a lot of people switched Firmino with Jota because Jota, I believe, was going to be on the wing, and Firmino plays that false 9 situation. And then, of course, Firmino scores, gets ruled out, and then he actually scores, and we're like tilted beyond belief. But then luckily Jota gets the winner and kind of got us back into things. Timo Werner, we'll get to him in a little bit. We're gonna debut a new segment, and Timo's going to show up there for me. Instead of going with the double Liverpool fullback, I wanted to get Bruno Fernandes in there kind of as a bit of a differential, especially because Trent Alexander-Arnold hasn't been himself. And there's another one I regret, technically. But Bruno served me well. Tom Kearney, actually, I believe, is the top play on the entire slate at 26.10. That was a late pivot with Ivan Cavallero out for Fulham. We knew Kearney was going to be fully on sets, and he was looking great until he scored that garbage time goal that put him up to 26. We love that. And I'm guessing that all of these, let's see, I finished 6th with 101.3. I'm guessing the top 6 here, and maybe even the guy below me with the 99, and probably a Basso too, I'm guessing we all had Kearney. I don't think you can get up that high without him. So Ben Chilwell, either one of those Chelsea fullbacks, I think, would have gotten you there. Areola, I would guess, is the top keeper if memory serves. It's been a couple of days, and then Gino Wijnaldum, I mean, min price just to get any exposure to Liverpool against Sheffield. I thought that would be a good move. I thought maybe I could get some goal upside, and realistically, 6.86. I was happy with that. So it's all downhill for me from here, but let's take a look at some of the top lineups here. We got, I'll say 3 Sharks at the top because my boy's at number 3, but let's start with Saramek, the number 2 player in the world according to Roto Grinders. He gets the win here. I love what he did. I mean, so he goes Mane and Jota, which, again, another regret that I have. We haven't even gotten to the segment. Probably going to figure out what it is, but Mane and Jota, I think Mane was a great pivot, maybe more in GBP, but it ended up working out in cash as well off of Mo Salah because his ownership was way higher. Mane's at 30. That's almost half of Jota. And I would guess that he's the least owned of the 4 Liverpool guys. So that one really helped Saramek. Milicevic got you there.
Yeah.
Better than Townsend, cheaper than Townsend. He's got Kearney. He's got Robertson. Chilwell over Reece James, still great. Edouard Mendy, 2.9% keeper. You love that, especially when you had 24% on Areola. And then Juan Mata, again, got a few sets. You put up 5 crosses, 3 shots, which you don't expect that from Juan Mata, but not a lot of DFS goodness in that United Chelsea match. So you get a clean sheet for Chilwell, you get a clean sheet for Mendy, and you're looking good. Let's move down to Blenderhead, another of the greats. Theory of DFS, now for sale. You can get all of his insight, which I'm actually doing, and I've enjoyed it so far. So there's a free plug for something he probably doesn't need. Let's see. Blender goes with Firmino up top. See, 41.2% in cash, which, again, we're talking cash, so ownership's not that big a deal all the time. Michy Batshuayi, who I actually tweeted after I saw the price and the slate started, I was like, that's probably a better play than Firmino. Anyway, because of the ownership, 14.7%. He puts up pretty much the same thing, but of course Firmino scored, so I had to go back and rehash that. He's got Bruno, he's got Kearney, he's got Robertson, he's got Chilwell. Ramsdale's a fine play, cheap keeper, and then he went with the double Liverpool fullbacks. He's got TAA, and then I'm going to go with my boy Narikov here, another guy from the FSI world. He goes with solid. See, 52.9%. That's above Firmino even at his price with Jota, but again, Salah gets you 10, that's fine. He went with Gino, Kearney, Robertson, Chilwell, Areola, Alexander-Arnold. So basically kind of what we expect here. I want to go down to Abasso here because that's another guy I respect a ton. Yeah, see, same kind of thing. He had Gaeta, so he didn't get up in the hundreds like he would have for Areola or maybe paying up for Mendy. Baldock, a nice play at 3,600. I think he was on my list of guys. Double Liverpool fullback, Bruno, Jota, Firmino. So a lot of cheap forwards got you there this weekend, at least on Saturday. So what did you go with this weekend, buddy?
I think it was pretty similar to yours.
Go figure.
Yeah, go figure. Who did I have? I had Mane, I got Timo, Mata, Kearney, Robertson, Chilwell. I went Gaeta. And then I had to pick up Conte, which that didn't pay off at all. He didn't even get 2 points.
He's one of those guys, man. And I know I suggested him as kind of that punt anyway. He's one of those guys who he can get you a few points on interceptions depending on the game. But I probably shouldn't factor him in as much anymore.
Yeah, they seem like they're sort of moving away from him.
He doesn't get forward as much. So he's still a great piece. He's still one of the premier midfielders in the world, but he's not going to get you there in DFS. So
yeah, some of those punts. It's okay. Well, some of the punts, like it happened multiple times this weekend. It seems like there's like a really brainy decision that I'm gonna make here, and like, yeah, I'm gonna not spend too much at all, and I'm gonna get this guy, and he's gonna like surprise everyone, get like 7 points or something like that. And the possibilities are also endless. He might get 1.5 or less.
Plenty of guys like that. I mean,
Yeah.
Timo Werner, 1.76. So at least Conte wasn't $8,300. So our new segment, maybe I'll come up with some. Maybe I'll get some sort of graphic for this, but
Oh yeah.
we're gonna go biggest regrets and biggest pats on the back. So I guess I'll start. I know I just took my screen away, but I'm not gonna pat myself on the back for Kearney because while I did identify him, he was a part of the core over at FSI, so we kind of knew he was going to do well. Am I patting myself on the back anywhere in this lineup? I don't know that I am. I'm happy with Chilwell. I guess Areola, but I'm going to go with Gino Wijnaldum, I guess. Not that I did anything right here other than just take the salary. He just outperformed what I thought. So good on me, I guess. And my big regret's Timo Werner. We even said this last week. I said this last week. I don't like playing him. I'm not a huge fan of his. And it's one of those things which you try to avoid in DFS, but like if I play him, he doesn't do well. If I don't play him, he does well. It's not something you can like let into your process, but it's just how it seems to go for him. And boy, he was bad this weekend.
Yeah, I would say that that's my regret, but I have to come up with something different. So I'll try to be individual here. You know what? I'm proud of Kearney. I'm proud of myself on that. It like made a big difference in some of the contests I was in. Wasn't acting not I consulted with a certain someone on that one, but I'm still proud of it. I don't know. And then my regret, I don't know. I definitely regret Timo. That sucks. But I think I regret Gaeta more just because I like wanted to give him a chance again. And obviously the better choice, at least, in that game was Areola among other better choices.
And I guess it's just, if there's a lesson to learn from that, it's just don't pay up for keeper. But I don't think you should regret Gaeta. I had him in a bunch of lineups until I saw my builds without him. And when I was down at Areola, I don't remember the prices now that I don't have them pulled up in front of me. But I don't think you should regret that. I don't think you should regret anything about a keeper unless you pay up for one and he gives up a goal. I think that's the only keeper regret you should ever really have.
Okay.
I'm sure we can come up with a few, but I'm going to let you pass on that one. Not that I'm the end-all be-all here. All right. Let's move on to Sunday. Sunday. I, as you can see here, did not do well. 18th out of 22 here. But, I mean, the number one player in the world is sitting at 14. We'll take a look at his lineup at some point here. But, I mean, James Ward-Prowse, the only real good play for me here. I mean, if James Rodriguez is playing and Everton is a favorite, you're going to play him. I thought they'd at least score, and with Dominic Calvert-Lewin's streak, I felt like I had to play him, and he got negative points. Shout out to Dominic. Had to happen. Ryan Fraser, set taker for Newcastle with John Joe Shelby. John Joe Hank, as I call him. John Joe Shelby out of the lineup. James Ward-Prowse, high-owned, high points. Luka Dean with an absolute stinker and a red card.
Yeah.
He's another guy that it's like almost an auto play, even at 6,300. On this slate, he was almost an auto play, even though 30% of the field faded him. Good on them. He put up 2 points. I faded him in Showdown on accident. I thought I had him in my lineups, and thank God I didn't because I cashed in all those. Ben Godfrey, close to a minimum priced fullback for 2,600, 3.6 isn't bad. Darlow didn't get as much action as I thought maybe he would. Ryan Bertrand, I was happy about that when he got me 10 points. So let's take a look at Piano Club, who was 9 points clear of everybody. He just had the goal scorers.
Yeah.
I mean, there were 4 goals on this entire slate. Jimenez gets 1. Adams gets 1. James Ward-Prowse gets 1. So he had 3 of the 4. I want to say the other one was it an own goal? I could just be making that up. 3 of the 4 were goals. 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 3 of the 4
Oh.
Anyway, he's got the 2 Southampton goals. He's got the Wolves goal, and then whatever happened with the Newcastle goal, I don't remember. So I don't know Piano Club. I don't remember seeing him a ton. If he's a shark, sorry, man, don't pick up my head-to-heads. But, I mean, the McCarthy play is a pay down. That's fine, and it worked out well. Not mad at him about that. I'm not really mad at him about anything. Jimenez is not a bad cash play. I believe you played him?
Yeah. That and on my best performing one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not mad at anyone for playing Raul Jimenez. The Che Adams play, I mean, 7,000, that's pretty pricey. If he gets you a goal, obviously it's fantastic, but at 7,000, man, I don't know. But it worked, so I ain't mad at him. Let's look at a couple of other Sharks. I'll look at Fear the Turtle 7 because we have a nice rivalry in head-to-head. He's got Neto. So that's, I mean, the first 3 there, Neto, J-Rod, Frazier, Ward-Prowse, Dina, all 5 of those guys are on sets. And then the Murphy kid from Newcastle, that's where that other goal came from. It was Jacob Murphy.
Oh, yeah.
5,500, played wingback, but was a mid-forward eligible. That was a sharp play. He was cruising along even before the goal. I didn't even notice him in the lineups, if I'm being completely honest. And, I mean, I got you 17.7 points. So, shout out to Fear the Turtle. Glad I didn't play him there. Your Name, Abasso, Moneyball. These are all big-name guys here. Menace, J-Rod. This is interesting, and I know Pew Pew Pew, number 1 player in the world, he did the same sort of thing. Iwobi at 3,000, 45%. He only gets you 6 points, but, I mean, that's a nice punt. Let's look at his really quick. Yeah, so you got set takers in Neto, J-Rod, Ward-Prowse, Luka Dean. Patricio didn't work out at all. That's probably the only reason he didn't cash if I'm looking at it right. Close to it. J-Rod didn't do a whole lot. Iwobi was a nice pay down. Godfrey was a nice pay down. And then Frazier, again, another set taker. He did the right things for cash, just there were some wild goals that people caught. So kind of a weird slate, but it is what it is. What were you rocking on Sunday?
I had a couple ones that really didn't go anywhere. The one that I did best on, I had Jimenez. I had Danny Ings, when he had 2 assists.
Yeah.
That was great. I had Frazier up there. I had Ward-Prowse. I had Dean and Yerry Mina, Pickford, and then Jamal Lewis. Rockin'. That was the best performing one out of all of them.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah,
I play Mina quite a bit. I think if you're looking for goal upside out of a center back, which generally you don't want to do, but if you have the money at the bottom, I think he's one of the best plays because he gets his head on a ball off the corner. He's scoring it. In the World Cup, he was putting them home every 2-3 corners. So I like that play, even though it's a little unconventional. Lewis, the fullback, again, a nice pay down. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, there was a couple of good punt calls here and there. I think that any of the well-performing ones I had they paid off slightly better than some of the other ones.
So what's your biggest pat on the back? What's your biggest regret from that slate? It's hard to regret much when you cash, but
yeah. I think my biggest pat on the back is I don't know. I want to take it. I'm going to step back a little bit on the whole concept of it, and I think just like this was a good combination of guys because that was one of my bigger problems. This whole weekend was I kind of had like one guy be one lineup and he was doing great, and everyone else was crap, and one guy was another one and he was great, and everyone else was crap. This had a great combination of like like I said, solid punts, but also the guys that brought goals in. If you want to be strict about it, I'm proud of Jimenez.
All right. That's fine. Again, if you pay up for a top bill striker against a weaker opponent, which it was, I mean, the slate did not go to what the odds were at all. I mean, Everton got blanked Southampton win by 2, and then Wolves and Newcastle draw, which, I mean, Wolves won that match until they gave away that Murphy goal towards the end. So, but
Yeah.
for what it's worth, for such a weird slate, I mean, if you identify Jimenez as being one of the few goals on the slate, then I don't think anyone can fault you for it.
Right. I think my biggest regret here is Luka Dean. I could have spent I keep looking at that money figure, and I'm like, I could have, I could have had Neto in there. I could have had, I don't know, a lot of other people in the mix. And that hurts, seeing all that wasted potential there.
It's a tough line with them now that Hamas is there, because there's been a few matches early on where Dean has completely shown up. He's gotten a lot of corners, put in a lot of crosses, but J-Rod's been the man. And, I mean, red card aside, for most of that match, Dean was just not involved. So, yeah, I think we all regret that one. I think all 68% of us in this cash game regret that one. But my biggest regret's paying up for Calvert-Lewin. I would probably do it again, but I was debating between he and Danny Ings. So, given that, I'm going to say I wish I would have played Danny Ings. I am happy I paid up for Ryan Bertrand, though. Again, I'll double down on that. I pat myself on the back for playing Bertrand at 4,900. I like that play. I did think this match was a little more even, but I didn't really back it up by putting Ings with – I mean, I'm already playing Bertrand and James Ward-Prowse. I should have gone with Ings for the correlation. If I really wanted to truly build a lineup that could pop, I should have gone that way. But I had Hamas and Dina. So, I mean, either one of them could have put one off of Calvert-Lewin's head, and we could be having a completely different conversation. So,
yeah.
All right, let's move to today. Not much to cover from today. It was, I mean, when you look at the slate, goodness gracious, West Brom and Brighton, and then Spurs and Burnley, which you look at that slate and you're like, yeah, Spurs, they're going to dominate, but you got Jose Mourinho.
Oh, yeah.
Against Sean Dyche, and you knew you were going to get some anti-football. And boy, did we. That was one of the most boring matches I've ever watched in my life. And I watch pretty much every match that is televised at this point in my life. Yes. I got suckered into it. The one that I didn't watch, the first one. I played FIFA instead.
Oh. Yeah.
I'm a hard worker. All right. So I don't think this is paid out yet, but I don't think I'm going to cash. I don't think I'm going to get any stack directions that's going to put me up. So let's take a look at it again. I thought that this slate was going to come down to whether or not you played Harry Kane. I don't think it did. Maybe in a different way. We'll look at the top lineups here in a second. But I want Kane, Son, and as soon as you were doing that, you were trying to fill holes elsewhere. I like Solly March a ton. I play him anytime. I don't think Brighton's going to get boat raced. So I let him roll today, 40% owned. That's fine. Didn't do much at all. Gallagher outperformed him. Lallana outperformed him. But, I mean, those guys, those were just like, and White included, these were just punts to get Kane and Son into my lineup. So I expected the 4-5 out of everyone, but not Solly. I expected a little more out of him, especially against the West Brom defense that's pretty trash. And then John Stone did what I thought he would do. I was very upset when Jose came out and didn't play either Sergio or Serge, Reguilon or Aria, and I had to play Matt Doherty, but he was all right. I've been trashing him like crazy, and his last two matches for Spurs have been all right, and he was almost the top performer on my whole squad until that Son to Kane goal. So I didn't catch any goals other than Son, and when you catch a 68% owned goal, it's not going to do much for you. So a little bit of a slow day to me. Moneyball wins it. We got a shark. Let's take a look. Pereira, I was between Pereira and March. Pereira was a little more expensive. I think people expected Brighton to win this one. I went with March. Pereira, obviously, with 12 points. That's fantastic. And then here's the difference. This is what I think this really came down to, and it's unfortunate to say in cash, but I thought about it, and we were talking about this before we went live. I thought going into it that the difference on the slate might be whether or not you pick Kane or whether or not you pick Lloris. And we talked about this a little bit last week. If you think someone's going to score one goal, but they don't have a floor otherwise, like Kane, I think you can compare him against a heavily favored clean sheet odd keeper. If you try, like, it's Burnley. Burnley's at the bottom of the table, and they don't score much anyway. So I think then you think of a clean sheet as a goal, and you compare him to Harry Kane. And I think on this slate, you pay up for the goal. The odds of a clean sheet generally, if you look at Vegas, are on a really heavily favored team between 32 and 40. I don't know that I've ever seen higher than 42%. And that was just this weekend that I saw the 42. I don't remember who it was. The odds of a goal scorer are very close. The top end guys, close to 46 probably, but then most of them are way below that 36 mark. The difference is Hugo's not going to get you 2 goals. There's no way he can get you 2 goals unless, let's see, he has to make 5-6 saves plus the clean sheet. You get 17 here with 3 saves and a foul drawn, so that's an extra point. So we're looking at 16. Kane's got to score a goal and an assist to pass that, which it's not out of the realm of possibility. But I think when you consider the prices and what you can get elsewhere, I think it's a worthwhile conversation. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do. I know some people would kill me for talking about paying up for keepers and cash, and I understand. I've done it, and I've done it to great success. I've done it to great failure. More often than not, the failure. There's a lot of stains that happen depending on the guy that you're playing. I mean, if you're paying up for Ederson ever, you're probably going to get screwed. If you're paying up for Kepa ever, you're definitely going to get screwed. I like playing Hugo, and it was Burnley, and I'm already going to say that's my biggest regret is going Kane instead of Lloris, especially given the ownership, because I don't think as many people are going to pay up for Lloris as they're going to pay up for Kane. If I could go back in time, I might change it this time because I was actually thinking about it, but I'm not going to tell my future self to do something like that if you follow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of where my I have a similar problem with my regret, but go on.
So just looking at Moneyball real quick, even though it's been up. Barnes, Trossard takes some sets. That's a nice, decent floor play, but at 8,000. You know, it's going to save you money from Kane for sure. That 2,000 you can use elsewhere. And it got him to Pereira over March, and that's big enough in itself. But if you compare Hugo, I'm going to be back on this. If you compare Hugo to Kane, you're saving, isn't Kane like 12,000 or something? You're saving almost an entire Trossard on the rest of your lineup. Barnes, I know I talked you off of him. He's only 9% owned, 5 points. Didn't do much for you, but that's fine. Not a lot out of Veltman, but you still got Son, you got Pereira, and Lloris is what got you there. And again, Moneyball's a shark. I'm willing to look at his lineup and be okay with my thought process and maybe taking Lloris. Let's move on down. See, you didn't even have to make that sacrifice.
Yeah.
Kane, Son, Tanguy, Lana, Lowton, a nice, 2,900 for a fullback. You knew that was going to work out. Toby gets the clean sheet. He's also got assist equity. Again, I'm not going to tell anyone to play a defender because of his assist equity. That's dumb. That's very low EV. But he has it, and he was $2,600 on a favorite. He got to Lloris, and I don't know how he got to McNeil. I don't know how he had $400 of cap space. That's two fantastic defense plays. The Lallana and Ndombele midfield's not bad. Again, plenty of assist equity there, but not a ton else. And McNeil actually underperformed here based on what I thought he would get even against Spurs, even without the ball. But, that's a nice lineup. I wish I would have thought of this, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think I played around with it initially, but because I was trying to rock Reguilon and Aurier in my dummy lineup, when it came time for business, I didn't think about the double punt at defense. Really, it's a quadruple punt at midfield and defense, but that's just a game stack. That's a straight game stack with Lallana as your third team, and it worked out. Let's take a look at a couple more Sharks. Ibasso again, Kane, Son, Lloris. I think we just got.
Yeah.
Kane's son, Lloris. I mean, when again you think about these 4 teams, Brighton. Anytime I see them on a slate, I'm like, I'll get 1 piece, 2 pieces, maybe if I'm including paying down for the keeper. West Brom, I'm thinking, do I want Pereira? Maybe one of the wing backs. Again, maybe the goalie. Burnley, McNeil, Pope sometimes if he's the cheapest keeper.
Yeah.
So when you look at it, I mean, obviously you wanted a lot of Spurs on this slate, and that's what won it. I think I just might have outthought myself. So what did you go with today?
I mean, I had to make a lot of room around Kane and Son, and I didn't plan on McNeil when I first started, but that was another big money one that I also had to work around. I had Basuma, I had Matt Lowton in there. I went with Nick Pope because I thought he would at least dive around a little bit. It didn't seem like he was doing much of anything. And then I had Veltman and Gallagher to round it out at the bottom. A lot of punting there, and I'll pat myself on the back for Lowton because that was a good one of the better punts of the weekend. But I regret it, and this is what I was talking about before. I regret Basuma, but what I really regret is that I was planning to have Reggie on there, and it restricted me so much.
Yeah, we both left a lot of money on the table. Again, now that I've seen that people had Kane, Son, Lloris, I mean, again, you're planning for 3 goals there. And
yeah,
even if Spurs concede, I think those guys were still clear because they had Kane and Son. Let me pull that back up one more time, and we just look at it really quick. Let's see, Moneyball. You take away Lloris's win and clean sheet, he's at 7 points. Down 7 I mean, he's still ahead of Rich.
Yeah. And
5th there. So it's not just that. The Pereira play was great. Doherty ended up being all right. So, yeah, I feel a little let down myself because I think originally when I started building lineups last night, I just immediately started with Kane, Son, Lloris. So I was like, I can still fit people in here. And then I think I saw the prices on Reguilon and Aurier, and I was like, I think I can fit them in there and get some more pieces without Lloris. And I think we're all right if either of them start, especially without one another. I mean, if Reguilon starts without Aurier, you're like, okay, he's going to cross the 10 from the left. Aurier starts without Reguilon on the left, and Ben Davies in there with Højbjerg. Højbjerg is going to drop back. Davis is going to stay short on the left flank, and Serge is just going to bomb. And I actually think that's probably a better lineup and would have produced a better and more entertaining result. But instead, they chose the old Jose Mourinho. Grinding out and looking for that 1 goal, which was a double header from Kane to Son.
I took a nap for this one. It's been a tough weekend, and so I was like, I'm sleeping. I'm not doing this.
You didn't miss anything.
Yeah, I missed a double header. That would have been fun to watch. Oh wow!
It was a little glancing header. It was all right. Harry Kane was the best defender on Spurs today. He headed one off the goal line. He threw himself in front of a cross like a hockey player. He's turning himself into one of the better players in the world, all around. And I'm like a clown for saying that, but this team is ass right now without everything that he's done. And
yeah,
it's cool. Yeah. There have been times where I'm like, yeah, he's all right. He's a good striker and he's one of our own, but no, he's been a hell of a player.
Yeah.
All right, so we got a big Champions League slate tomorrow. I'll be playing the big GPPs on that one, but otherwise, we're just looking forward to next weekend. I'm gonna pull up next weekend's games really quick. I'm sure this is gonna be really entertaining. But if people are still here, trying to get this thing down to 15, 20 minutes. I don't think we did a great job of that today. So I'm just gonna extend it and take a look at what we got next weekend real quick. This is gonna be.
This is for the real heads. This is for the real sort of a DFS. Some kind of monster by Metallica DFS podcast. That's the name of it.
That's what we're renaming it.
Yeah.
All right, we got Wolves Palace on Friday. That'll be a single game slate, and that'll be another snooze fest. Hallows Eve, we got City Sheffield at 8:30. That won't be a part of a main slate. I assume we'll get a 2-game slate with Burnley, Chelsea, and Liverpool, West Ham, which, all right. Sunday.
If we get no goals out of that, I quit soccer. I'm done.
I'm not going to hold you to that. How about that? Sunday, we got Villa, Southampton, Newcastle, Everton, United, Arsenal, and then Spurs, Brighton. I'm hoping we'll get another 3-gamer with Newcastle, Everton, Man United, Arsenal, and Spurs, Brighton, but I think they want to get rid of these 3-game stutter starts. And then we'll have a Monday slate. Ooh, boy, what a cracker. Fulham, West Brom, and Leeds, Leicester. Leeds, Leicester will be fun. I think those 2 teams are ready to run. So,
Yeah, I was talking about Leeds last week, and I don't know if I'll waste some money betting on Bamford. Whatever. I've wasted money in worse ways.
You just got to just pair him up with Jack Harrison, and I think you're all right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about him.
We got to pay attention to ownership a little bit on Bamford after a clean sheet. But, I mean, it's not like Leeds is going to be favored.
That's true.
I assume it's going to be Leicester. So, and if Vardy plays a full 90, depending on what his price is, he might be way higher on the Bamford even after the clean sheet. Or the clean sheet, jeez. I got clean sheet on the mind. The hat trick is what we call it.
Yeah.
All right, well, this isn't sort of a DFS preview. This is sort of a DFS recap. So we'll let the true pros get to the podcast and preview next weekend's game. And we'll just tell you how we screwed it up.
Yeah, we clean up the mess.
Yeah, right.
We watch them, and then we sort of just
you watch them going into it to see what to do, and then you watch us afterward and be like, glad I didn't do that.
Yeah.
Hopefully in week 3 we'll have a little more profit to report. So hopefully I win this 20,000 tomorrow, and then we're going to shut this down, and I'm just going to – what can you really do with 20,000 pay off student loan debt?
We're set for life. 20,000. Oh, my God.
Especially after the taxes.
Yeah, we're set for about 3 months.
You're right. Got to pay that rent. All right, buddy. Well, thanks for doing this again. We'll be back for week 3, hopefully, unless we lose our asses. Otherwise, thank you. If you're still listening, thank you, Mom. We'll talk to you next time. On the sort of DFS recap.